for joining me in meeting Hannah Kraft, who is with the Honolulu Museum of Art. Thank you for being with us. And thank you for taking the time to come into this place, which is different than your place.
It is. Thank you so much for the invitation.
You know, I remember growing up with the Honolulu Museum of Art being called the Art Academy.
Yes, that's correct. So some time ago, they rebranded and renamed it the Honolulu Museum of Art. It merged with the Contemporary Museum, and we're now one big multi-site facility supporting students and artists and teachers and schools to do what we can to help education and arts education here.
Yeah, and to promote the creativity in everyone, you know, and to inspire. Lini Kona is also connected with you folks.
That's correct, and that's one of the programs that I manage there. All of the youth classes there at the Lini Kona building, which we now call the Honolulu Museum of Art School.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you can explain a little bit more about those youth programs, because I know at one time when my son was very young, it was the most amazing summer for him to experience his own creativity.
That's so nice to hear. So those summer programs are in session right now. We're about halfway through and gearing up and preparing for next school year's programs. We offer those tuition-based classes for keiki ages 3 to 18, 3 times a year. So we have fall sessions, spring sessions, and summer sessions. And we also offer financial aid scholarships for those programs. So they're accessible to all of Hawaii's young artists.
You know, and when we think about art, we look around at your museum and this one as well. It seems that the focus is on graphic arts, on painting with different medium, but that's not how you define art.
That's true. So there's a lot of thinking about this now, talking about 3D kids stuck in a 2D world. And there's this antiquated idea that art is drawing or painting or figurative sculpture, but we're really more interested in cultivating a creative way of life and helping students learn what it's like to be an artist. How does an artist move through the world? How do they see the world? How do they interact with other artists and people? So yeah, that's our work, and I really feel it's important to cultivate play and to help students understand that it's okay to take risks and make mistakes and learn from them and collaborate. Those important 21st century skills that are a little softer and harder to teach through the content areas that they're learning in school.
Well, and ironically, what you're talking about actually is being human.
Right, yeah. Artists are people, and they're good people most of the time.
You know, I really wish there could be a public conversation on how everyone is an artist in their own way and how they live their life. That's part of the philosophy that your youth programs promote.
Exactly. So we're now rooting most of our youth programs in a pedagogy called Teaching for Artistic Behaviors, rooted in the idea that we need input to create output. So if you think of any sort of creative faculty, we want to inspire so that they can make inspired work. And that work can be anything. It could be the clothes that you put on this morning, or the way you plated your dinner last night, or the way you arrange your desk. Those are aesthetic choices. And we just want people to acknowledge that they are creative. This idea that you're either artistic or not.
Right, we were told.
Yeah, it's not helpful to anyone. We're all creative, we all have that capacity. And at the museum, we're really trying to empower lifelong learners. So we have those youth classes that I manage as well as adult classes.
For instance, you know, how would you frame creativity for a surfer?
Ooh, well, I mean, everyone's got their own style, right? Whether you stand goofy foot, if you like to ride longboard or shortboard, the waves that you choose, the beaches that you go to, that's your style, right? What your board looks like.
What you wear?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Wonderful. Now, in what artist field are you a specialist?
So I went to school for sculpture, and I currently make prints, but really whatever it takes, I just need to get the idea out of my head sometimes, and that's what we want to share with students.
So you segued from sculpture to these various other forms. How does that happen?
You know, our lives are so interdisciplinary all the time. When one chooses a career, they might choose a different path a few years later. Right. And we want to share with students that that's okay too, that they might feel like drawing one day and painting another day or playing with clay the next. It's all creative, and it's all about how you approach it. And if you're going into it with an open mind and understanding that there's no right or wrong, that's really what I want to share with keiki.
And discovering more about who we are through different medium.
Correct. We can learn so much about ourselves in the work that we make and the work that we're attracted to or avert from.
And the gifts we can offer
of course,
to the world.
Yeah. I mean, there's something really, really powerful in this sort of swipe culture that we live in now. Giving students the opportunity to physically make something, to take an idea from their mind and put it out into the world, that's really empowering and can be especially beneficial for students who are more challenging or not quite as gifted in other areas.
Or bored in school.
Yes, yeah, totally. Yeah, art can be something to look forward to. We think it actually increases attendance, but that's something that's really tricky to measure.
Sure, sure. Well, thank you for your energy and your creativity. Appreciate that you had a little bit of time for us today.
Of course, thanks so much for letting me share.
Wonderful conversation with Hannah Kraft, who is with the Honolulu Museum of Art. Glad you could be with us.